Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page, where I do this daily live stream all around the divination card or the oracle card that I draw in the morning. We have a spiritual conversation about that, and we see what Spirit would like us to know, what's most important for us to know of the energy that's flowing today, and really how it can help our soul growth. So I'm glad you guys are here. Welcome. And today is Saturday, March 30th. I know. Like, where did March go, right? This morning, I have to share this. This morning, it was cold. It was like 30 degrees out when I got up. And I was sitting in the living room, and one of my sisters is here, and she came down and from the upstairs, and she's looking out the window. No, I think you were still upstairs. And she says, "Is that snow?" And I looked up, and it was flurries this morning. And how can that be? So anyway, that's what we had this morning. I don't know what it's like by you, but it's not all that bad. But to see snowflakes this morning was kind of like a shocker. Before we get too far down the road, what I'd like to do is like and share our live stream, and I invite you to do the same. And we do this practically every day, but it helps others to find us, and that's the intention. That's the intention. So I'm sharing it over to my newsfeed. It's just going to take a second, and I'm just going to let my friends know that I'm live streaming and asking them to please join me. There we go. Yeah, and I think what's important is the intention here, so even if you just share it with one friend, that's helpful. It's helpful. It's helpful to your friend, and it's helpful to Star Nation so that we can reach more people, right? And so I appreciate that. So I'm sending it to my newsfeed, and I believe, guess who's back? She's back, not quite in full swing, but she's back, is Stephanie, our social media manager. And she was working yesterday, and I'm hoping that she's going to pop into the live stream here, and she can share it out to the other groups for me and the other pages. So I don't want to duplicate it. So we'll see if she shows up and do that kind of stuff for us. So let's see who's in the chat on this Saturday afternoon. Rochelle is here. Hello, Rochelle. She says, "Hello, Neshi." Oh, that's too bad. She says she's feeling crappy. Feel afraid to eat anything. Had a little applesauce and green tea. Don't sleep too good. Ugh. Well, I can understand the ugh part. So I know that you had been to the doctor, so I'm sorry that you're feeling so poorly, Rochelle. If you don't mind, I'm sure that we could ask others to send you some Reiki, to send you some love, okay? Help you feeling a little bit better. Yeah. And Rob is here. Hello, Rob. She says, "I will love and share because that's the type of person I am. Deal with it." All righty then. We can deal with it just fine. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. And Rochelle said she shared too. Thank you, Rochelle. Yeah. Hey, Julie just popped in. Hello, Julie Shumway Hill. Good to have you here. Good to see you in the chat. It's been a really, I missed you guys yesterday, of course, because I wasn't doing the live stream. I was busy from I guess it was 10 o'clock or 10:30 to 5:30 yesterday afternoon. We're in the home stretch of getting all of 2018 bookkeeping all done and heading into the tax preparation part of it. And it's been a kind of a long haul. Yeah, we finally got maybe another hour or two, and everything will be all wrapped up, and I won't have to do this again for another, hopefully not for a whole year. It's fun though. What made it fun was working with one of my best friends. We've been best friends since third grade, and so goofing around and that kind of stuff. It makes it fun when you're working with a task that I can think of 1,000 different things to do rather than to sit down and do the bookkeeping. So when Marley comes over, she makes it fun, and she really knows her stuff. I was really impressed. she always impresses me with her skill. And so, yeah, that was good stuff. And she gets to play with George too. And then one of my sisters showed up, and that was fun. We're making paella tonight for supper. Paul and I love it, but when you make it, there's so much. And so we're hoping Teresa's going to have a nice appetite because it's a lot of food. So we're going to be doing that. And of course, I still have to do stuff for Star Nations. And Teresa was so kind and able to help me to recreate our template for the newsletter, because we haven't sent a newsletter out in a really long time. So anyway, lots of good stuff going on. Lots of good stuff. Yeah. Rochelle is saying, thank you. You're welcome, Rochelle. There's so many of us here that love you that I'm sure that sending you some good energy your way is going to be pretty darn easy for a lot of people. Shared, shared, sheriff, I think you meant shared. Don't like it. Says it's not kosher. Rocking the Casbah. Yeah, you always give us such really good lyrics there, Rob. And then you leave me thinking, what song was that from? I recognize those words, but what song was it from? Or who's the artist, right? All right, so the cards today. The cards today is very interesting because, of course, we've had them before. And somebody came back and joined us again. Another time, another go around. But the very okay, Rob, I think you might have a little competition here with Teresa, because Teresa, Teresa knows her music too. She used to, in college, she used to spin the vinyl at their university radio station. So she really knows her music. Yeah, so it'll be fun, huh? Okay, now watch. He'll come up with some more lyrics. He's trying to stump the Teresa with the lyrics. Okay, so here's the first card, and yeah, do you remember this one? Sow, Muc in Gaelic. And I remember the first time I saw this card, I was thinking, oh, how adorable, those cute little piglets. They're so cute. Yeah. And the sow herself, it's like, it's all about nurturing in this picture. And in the background, look in the background, we got that hill in the background and all that farmland, that open land. Notice that the tree that we can kind of see there has some leaves on it. And the illustrator, Bill Worthington, yeah, he doesn't show a lot of leaves on the trees. So this one has to be like in the spring maybe, or summer, because there's leaves on the trees. Yeah. And some of the piglets are drinking milk, and others are eating beech tree nuts on the ground. And how many piglets are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 piglets. 7. The number associated with spirit. Lucky 7, isn't that what they say? Especially when it's in triple. 777. Yeah. So the words associated with the sow is generosity, nourishment, and discovery. Generosity, nourishment, and discovery. It says that the card shows a sow with her piglets. In the fields behind her, we see wheat and barley. In the fields behind her is wheat and barley. Said to have been brought to Wales by the divine sow Enwyn, the white ancient. On the horizon, we see the hill of Tara in Ireland, which was also known as Muc or Pig Island. When the Tuatha De Danann changed it into the shape of a pig, the Tuatha De Danann, also known as the Shining Ones. And if you ever heard any of the interviews that I did with Amantha Murphy, she's a great storyteller, and she tells us all about the Tuatha De Danann and the Shining Ones. And so I think Stephanie had shared the links in one of the shows. But anyway, we can certainly point you to the YouTube channel, and I'm sure you can find those pretty easily there. In the foreground, to the right grows sow thistle. That's hard to say. Sow thistle. And to the left, deadly nightshade, which it is said pigs can eat without harm. On the ground lies one of the favorite foods of pigs, the nuts of the beech tree. And if you remember the beech tree and the nuts, it's about wisdom. Because remember the salmon card? The salmon was jumping out of the water trying to get the nuts off the tree. And it's all about wisdom. And how do we get wisdom, right? It's because of the experience. Wisdom just doesn't come on its own. It comes with experience, no matter if it's in this lifetime or in a past life, because we can bring that wisdom forward, right, to this current life. But in order to gain it, you actually have to have experience, applying your gifts, and that's how you get wisdom. And those beech tree nuts represent wisdom. So look at all that wisdom on the ground. And the piglets, they don't have any problem getting to them to eat them, to take in the wisdom. All they have to do is locate them on the ground and eat them. So it's not as hard as what the salmon was doing, leaping. And there's a couple other cards that have the beech tree nuts in there too. Wisdom. So really, the babies are getting the nuts and getting the wisdom, and they're also nourishing from the mom. And the mom gets to look on, watching them. Yeah. All right. Let's see what Philip Cargome, who is one of the authors. It's Philip and Stephanie Cargome, and this is the name of the cards that we're using, the Druid Animal Oracle. It was published in 1996, right? So we know that for it to be published in 96, that the writing of it probably happened maybe in 95 or so, maybe even earlier than that. We don't know the whole story to the publishing piece. But in 1996, right? Lots was happening in 96 spiritually. We had a harmonic convergence in 1996. And so when we look at the information that's coming from the authors through the book and the cards, it's still relevant because it's coming from spirit, but we also know that we are existing in a different energy field than when the book was copyrighted. So when we take in the information to try to expand it, deepen it, so that we're getting the fullness of the spirit of the animal in today's energy field. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. So Philip goes on to say that I lost my page. Where did Sal go? Here. There it is. Muc, with her large litters, symbolizes abundance and fertility, right? And when the card is drawn upright, which it was today, may mean that you're called upon to be generous, Feeling connected to the love of Goddess for all her creatures, you are able to give freely, knowing that you, in turn, are nourished and sustained by her. You can open yourself to abundance that exists throughout nature. You can allow yourself to accept this abundance, knowing that life perpetually renews itself and you need not worry about being disconnected from it, right? Because we're always connected. It's when we turn our attention to that connection that we really bring it into our present, right? Into the moment with us. But when we're not focused on it, I think that's when we kind of feel like we are disconnected. But really, reality is that we're always connected to nature. Why? Is because we're a part of it. We're not separate from it. All right. And so he also says that allow yourself to feast on life. I like that line. Allow yourself to feast on life, to enjoy its beauties and its sensual delights. The goddess is generous, giving to all and renewing all. I like that. Nourishing. And I think we really do get that sense as we get to see how she cares for the young, cares for her children. And if the sow is representing the goddess, that how much she cares for us, her children, giving us that wisdom. And look, it really is easy when we turn our attention to it. It really is easy. That's interesting, isn't it? And I'm going to check the chat quick here. See who else came in. Okay. Hey, Polly Joe's here. Hello, PJ. Your furry nephew was really good yesterday. We had 2 ladies here, right, that he has met before, but he really did really well with not jumping up on them too much. Your furry nephew. That would be George. And Rochelle is saying hello to Polly Joe, and so is Teresa. Hey, Pat's here too. Hello, Pat. Good to have you here. Gina's here too. Gina, it's always good to see you in the house. Rob, I used to spin vinyl back in the day, WVUR. We wanted to get a Molly Hatchet tribute band, but we couldn't afford them. Oh, Rob, you're dating yourself. We had to settle for Molly. You're too funny. He said, I moved out to California in 1996 and was first read the Celestine Prophecy. Yep. And it was only a seed that wouldn't bear fruit until 2014. We have a good story between Teresa and I in the Philistine Prophecy, the series. Yeah, and the thing is that planting that seed when we're ready to really absorb and understand the information, it'll come back around again, right? Maybe in a different way, but we're ready. It planted that seed. Celestine Prophecy. Yeah, I haven't thought about those books in a long time. Rochelle said, what is a harmonic conversion? No, it's a harmonic convergence. That is when all the planets lined up in our galaxy with the sun. Okay. And it was a celestial alignment that opened many gateways at the same time. And so we were flooded with a higher vibration and information. And there was lots of shifting going on during those times. I think there was 3 of them, right? 1987, 1996, and there was another one in the 90s, I believe. Is it 87, 96? I think it was 85 or 84. Gonna look that up. Teresa's gonna look it up. Now, see if Stephanie was in the house, she would have already been checking that one out. And so, yeah, a lot of things changed during and after those conversions. And we had 3 of them because it was all that adjustment that was going on for us in all of our bodies. And so it was kind of like in preparation, right? In preparation. So harmonic convergence. Rob, what do you know, Polly Joe? Every time we see that, we always smile, and laugh. Hello, Kimberly. Good to have you here all the way from Scotland. And Susan, hello, Susan. Good to have you here with those heart eyes. Yeah. Okay, so for those that just joined us, this is the first card that came. That's Sow, and in Gaelic, the word is Muc, and her 7 little babies there, 5 of them are eating the beech tree nuts that are on the ground, and those represent wisdom. 2 of which are getting nourishment from her through her milk. So there's two different ways of nourishment here. One is feeding the physical body through the physical suckling, and the other one is getting nourishment for your spirit, for your soul, through that wisdom. Soul growth, right? Nourishment. And the other words associated with Muc is generosity and discovery. The other thing about this is that had the information come to us in reverse, which it didn't, we would have been looking at discussing something about not taking in what you see, like a person taking, making a judgment about them by their external appearance, their physical appearance, right? Judging a book by its cover kind of thing, and not taking in all the other subtleties about that person that you might not know until you take some time with them. And in this regard, if when the sow is drawn in reverse, is that you need to work toward a greater understanding of the subtleties of life rather than simply relying on their looks or their physique. So rather than doing the superficial kind of thing is to go a little bit deeper and get to know them. Yeah. It says, so judge people or propositions on their true merits and intrinsic worth rather than their outward appearance. And I think that when we are people, two-leggeds, that are awake on our journey here, I think that we're aware of those kind of thoughts that might kind of come into our mind in that judgmental kind of way, right? I think that many of us would catch ourselves and say, let's delete that last thought and replace it with something that's a little bit more positive, and get to know that other person a little bit more before making a judgment, and maybe not even judging at all, right? That would be in a perfect world. Well, we try to get as close as we can anyway. And so in that generosity, right, is to be generous in spirit, generous in your mind, generous in your heart, and knowing that as much as you give, the universal law about reciprocal, you'll get in return. Right? Which means also that energy is just energy. It's what we put those labels on it of the good or the negative or the positive, right? And so when we're being generous, what are we being generous with and how? Are we being generous with kindness and compassion, joy? Or are we being generous with judgmental thoughts? That kind of stuff. Yeah. But I would say, looking at the people in the two-leggeds in the chat, I would say that, I think that we would say that you're generous in heart. And oh my gosh, is that bright? That is so bright. I'm going to have to sit back a little bit. It's sunny here. And Teresa parked her car in the driveway. Perfect, right? except I didn't know that the sun was going to glare off from her windshield. What is that? The lyrics is that your life is so bright, you got to wear shades. Because I have photogray glasses, and so eventually it will darken my lenses. So just in case, okay, you guys, it's not that I don't want you to see my eyes. It's because the photogray is going to come out. All right. So that is the first card. First card. There was one more thing in here that I wanted to share with you about Sow. And it says that the ability of pigs to discover the earth's secrets is one of the reasons why the pig is so important to the Druid tradition. Both male and female pigs are sacred to the goddess. The sow representing her life-giving aspects, the boar symbolizing her life-taking aspects. To fully understand the role of the pig as a totem animal, we must study and work with both sow and boar. Okay, and so here we are in the Chinese New Year, right, of the pig. 2019 is in, there we go, is in the year of the pig. And so what does that mean? It's about that generosity. It's about that nourishment, right? Yeah. All right. Rob, I haven't been propositioned lately. Me either. Rochelle says, thank you, Teresa. What did Teresa do? Timbuk 3 was with the band. All right. And Polly Joe, glad you're in the house, Teresa. Me too, literally. She's in the house. Teresa says, found this article about the 1987 harmonic convergence event Neshi mentioned. Yep. LA Times, huh? All right. So here is the first card. And, and this one, I really do believe, the feeling I had when I reread the information and looking at the card, the first thing that drew me in was the 7 little piglets, because they're adorable, right? But they're eating that wisdom that's coming so easily to them on the ground, being nourished in that way. And the other 2 are getting nourishment as well, but it's more from the physical world. So there's many different ways that we can nourish ourselves or be nourished to feed our souls, our spirit, but also our physical body, our emotional body, yeah, and our mental body. And that nature takes care of us all the time. All the time. That we never are separate from her unless we make that decision, a mental decision, to feel that separateness when we're really not. Yeah. Okay. So the second card that came, talk about adorable. Talk about adorable. Look who came back. One more time around, Seal. Seal was with us, what is it, 3 days ago? Something like that. Seal. If I put it like that, I think there's going to be too much of a glare. Tip it just a bit. Look at that face. How adorable is that? Get him out of the shade there. I'm trying to get his face in there, not in the shade. There we go. Now, notice the ocean is behind him, behind her, actually. It's a her. We have a sow and we have a female seal. So not in the water, but on the beach. And not too close to the line, right, between the ocean and the land. But so cute. Look at those eyes, you know? So cute. And the Gaelic word for seal is ron. Ron. Notice the rainbow in the background too. You know, so it's a happy card. I mean, it's like, what do they say about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? All right, I got to do something here. There. Try to get out of the glare. The card shows a gray seal on the shore of a sacred island of Iona, which is known as Island na Druidnach, the island of the Druids. A pale rainbow shines over the Atlantic. On the horizon, we can see the outline of an uninhabited island called Dutchman's Cap. So think about that just for a minute. If you take a look at that, what's in the background, that island, and open up to it because it's uninhabited. So it's like a blank board, a tabula rasa, right? In that creation, out there in the future. But we have to cross the ocean to get there. In other words, we have to do some emotional work, right? And when we're manifesting, isn't our emotions the fuel for that manifestation, for it to be coming into the physical world? Yeah. Now, we didn't talk about that the last time we had this card. And with this card, Ron calls to you from the seal people of the sea. The Dadan and Ran, the songs of the seals, upsets and frightens many who hear it. Its mournful and human sounds stir the heart of the listener to the core. It is a call from the sea, from the unconscious, from the depths. It calls to us from the waters of our birth, from our beginnings on earth, from our brothers and our sisters in the animal realm who are closer to us than we dare imagine. We fear this call because we feel we may be drowned, overwhelmed by our feelings. But do not let your intellect imprison your heart. Opening yourself to the promptings of the unconscious and the feminine, of your dreams and longings will bring transformation, healing, and love into your life. And that seals have a strong and special connection with the human race. Seals are also known as shapeshifters. And they're very much connected to the divine feminine. And so the words that are associated with seal are love, longing, and dilemma. Love, longing, and dilemma. And when I put these two cards together, let me mark my spot. Get my bookmarker out. And take a drink of coffee. And yes, it is coffee. I'm going to put these two cards together. And so if you could, take a nice deep breath in. And when you're exhaling, relaxing to take in the information, both the seen and unseen in the cards. Taking in that message from Sal, from Muc, and how Seal, Ron, is supporting that. In that gathering of the wisdom. And in order to gather wisdom, we need to experience it, applying our gifts to nourish our soul on many levels. We're being nourished. And when Seal comes in, it's about love and longing. Yeah. And with Muc, it's also about discovery. So perhaps in that wisdom that we gained, we're discovering more and more about ourselves. And so that we're not taking in just the superficial, right? Look deeper than on the surface. Loving what you see. And when we know ourselves so much better, when we've gained some of that wisdom, and what we're longing for to create, Seal can help us to do that. Yeah. Perhaps creating something brand new, because we have an island out there that has no inhabitants. Maybe it's a fresh start for some people. Yeah. Muc, all those babies. And look, we have two females bringing this message to us today. Yeah. Hi. Oh, Jean is in the house. Hey, Jean. Good to have you here. Yeah, I love coffee too. Yeah, it's one of my favorite drinks. And coffee in the afternoon, nothing wrong with that. Especially after when you're up so late. We were just chatting and doing some work at the same time, Teresa and I. Before you know it, it's like midnight. It's like, oh my God, I got to get up at 6. And so, yeah. So coffee helps us. So how do when you look at these two cards, when you take it in, what do you sense, feel, or see for yourself? What resonates with you? What draws you in? Because Muc came to us today to deliver a message. And I believe it's about, we can gain our wisdom. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be relatively easy if we just get out of our own way. Because it's right there, right in front of us. All we have to do is pick it up, take it in. And Seal's there to support us and bring that the gift at the end of that rainbow, helping us maybe even create that whatever it is that we're longing for. We get to apply our wisdom to it. Isn't that something? Yeah. Yeah, and also please note when you were looking at the two cards where you felt the information in your physical body, right? So that when that you can recognize it when you sense or feel that energy again. You can remember what it's like, right? And connect it to the feeling when you saw these two cards together. Because I think it's important as we take in how the energy is unfolding each day, and especially today because we have these cards today, in how the energy is unfolding around you. And sometimes, it's happening right within you in that unfolding. And so how can this information be helpful to you? How can you utilize it in your soul growth? Yeah. Yeah, and it's like don't be so hard on yourself. That we're being nurtured, taken care of the entire time. Even though we might be feeling like we're right in the middle of a situation, one of those shocking events in your life, that the goddess isn't all that far from us, taking care of us. Nature's always here to take care of us, provides so much for us every single day. And so don't be so hard on yourself. As two-leggeds, we're not perfect. We weren't meant to be perfect. Yeah. You know, in some of the Native American traditions, when you're creating something, you know, whether it's an outfit, you know, with beadwork, or if it's, you know, the Navajo, you know, how they weave the rugs and that sort of thing, is that they even put a flaw into it consciously, to put a flaw into their creation. Because the way it goes is that humans, the two-leggeds, aren't perfect, and the only thing that's perfect is the Creator. And so when they consciously put that imperfection in there, it is their way of saying they're humble. They're humble, and they don't try to be perfect. You know, there's no such thing as perfection. And so when we're hard on ourselves, when we're trying to gain this wisdom, gain our wisdom, rather than making it difficult and complicated, sometimes it's as easy as looking down on the ground and picking it up, if we can get out of our own way. It's, you know, how many people, you know, in trying to be you know, to be perfect, is that we literally turn ourselves inside out. We spin ourselves so tight in trying to create that perfection. And what happens, one of the byproducts of that, I think, is, you know, control issues. That you can't be perfect if you can't control the variables. And so you try to control your environment, and yeah, and we make it more complicated than it needs to be. And then watch out for the expansion on that, because then you try to control other people. You know how well that works. Especially those with children. What happens when you try to control your teenage son or daughter? It's called rebellion. You know, they'll find a way, you know, so that they don't have to be caught up in that controlling web. Right? Yeah. Rob is saying nonfiction authors will do that to prove plagiarism. Okay. Give me a hint what you're talking about, Rob, because I think you're referring to something that I said earlier, or showed earlier, I think. Yeah. Give me a hint. Oh, I was the perfect obedient child. I bet you were. So was I. So was I. Yep. That dutiful daughter. Uh-huh. I still try to do that. I'll catch myself. It's like, oh, wait a minute. You know, that's not exactly how this is going to work. And actually, you know, there's a lot of belief systems around that too, right? In the culture I grew up in, there is actually something about when you go to your parents' house, and to be a good ho-chunk daughter, you will clean the entire kitchen, everything. You know, scrub down the stove, and clean the oven, and wash the floors, and, you know, clean out the refrigerator, and wipe down the. So literally, it's like almost like a deep cleaning of the kitchen, right? That is a sign of a good ho-chunk daughter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to do that when I go to my mom's house. You know, that was before they moved from our family home. I'd show up, and that's what I'd do. I'd clean the kitchen, clean the floors, and then help make the meal, clean up the meal, and then finish cleaning. You know, do I do that today? No. That's because she's living with me. She doesn't have the kitchen anymore. But Rob is saying, really, I was a perfect obedient child. Yvette Neshi. Oh, so you were that bad, were you? Hey, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. Just because, and I had a curfew. I had a curfew of midnight when I was a teenager. Now, my brothers didn't have a curfew, and they could pretty much come and go as they pleased. But I had a curfew, and for every minute I was late at midnight, it was a week that I was grounded. Yeah. So I learned how to call in. It's like, all right, this is what happened. Service was running slow or something, and it's like, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. As long as I called, it was fine. But if I just didn't call and just showed up late, it was for every minute. It was a week being grounded. Yeah. So I did everything everybody else did after midnight, I did before midnight. And then I would go home. When other parents were going, Deb's parents would go, her mom would say, I wish you could be more like Yvette. She's such a good girl. And Deb said she's standing there with her mouth open thinking, you don't really know her. We were just talking about that the other day. Yeah. So, there you go. Don't judge a book by its cover, right? Anyway, we gain our wisdom through experience. We gain our wisdom through experience. And the spirit, the essence of Seal, can come in to help back us up so that we can gain that rainbow that comes with the wisdom, and using that wisdom that we've gained to create what we're longing for. Yeah. I don't know. I probably moved and you didn't get it, right? All right. So, that was, I did that pretty fast. I hope I didn't talk too fast, you guys. Now that we don't have too much of a glare going on now. So how many people in the chat feel that they have either the sow or the seal as a totem or a power animal? Because, those people who really love the ocean, it's a possibility. And those people who really love the earth and, that you're really good at finding things. Sows, pigs, they're really good at finding things in the earth. And you think of truffles, right? And truffles are like, sought after and highly prized. Yeah. And looking through that. And Rob is saying, I know Jewish Kabbalists authors have admitted to putting mistakes in on purpose as a way to prove plagiarism. Oh, I see. I see what you mean. Thank you for explaining that, Rob. Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of things. Oh, yeah. That's right, Kimberly. I remember that. We doused for Kimberly the last time Seal was here. What day was that last week? I don't remember. I think it was last week. And it came out that Seal was a power animal for Kimberly. Wasn't it power animal? Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, and that the mistake purposely put into something in the creation. There is another story about how it can be like a pathway. It's like if you want to say a portal or a gateway in that particular weaving of a rug, that it's like a pathway to the creator. There was something about, maybe somebody has heard about this one too. There's also one about how a mistake like that put into like a tapestry is like when somebody crosses over, is that they can actually follow that pathway to the creator. So it's kind of like in the same vein, but it's coming from two different cultures. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Two-leggeds and not being perfect. So when we're trying to gain our wisdom, we don't have to be perfect. Don't have to be perfect to get it. And it all happens in divine timing. And that way we don't have to stress about it. That it's going to come to us in the time that it's meant to. Yeah, and if we can just get out of our way. I'm so glad you guys remembered this stuff. Polly Joe says the totem in the second chakra. That's right. Now I remember it was on Wednesday. Thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah. Kind of cool. That's why I need caffeine today. Yeah. We had a good time last night, didn't we, Teresa? Yeah. We went over a lot of ground yesterday evening. So, one of the things I like about these daily live streams with you guys is to be able to spend time like this with you and to have a conversation and get to know each other a little bit more, right? And so that when it comes time for, the one thing about Sal was not to prejudge, not to take for granted something that you see on the surface, that there's more to the situation or the person. And if you take your time and go deeper, that you have the opportunity to see more of what's really there, and not to judge it, until you take it in. Yeah. And so a lot of times that's how I feel about our time together during these live streams, is getting to know each other a little bit more. Yeah. And so I do appreciate the time that you spend. I know, and I appreciate those that the familiar names, and how many times that you come and watch or listen to one of the live streams. We appreciate that. And we also, we hope that the information that we share, that it's helpful to you, that it helps you, and that the insights that you might gain from even just one part of the sentence, that you can go, oh, that makes sense, or now I get it. It's like you get that one piece of the puzzle, and now you can see the picture a little bit better, right? Yeah. So spending our time together like this is both fun and valuable, I think. Yeah. So this is tomorrow. Let's see. I'm crossing my fingers. Tomorrow, that the live stream, and I'm going to, God, we should have moved your car. Let's see if I can get out of the sun. All right. So anyway, I should be able to do the live stream tomorrow. It all depends on whether, see, I think there's a towel or something in that top drawer on the right-hand side. No, one more down. We have one thing left to do on the bookkeeping stuff, and Marley and I are going to have a telephone conference call, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be here in the afternoon. We're going to try to do that call in the morning. But in the event, on the 1st, on Monday, we're going to be switching to another deck of cards. Oh my goodness. All right. That's a little bit better. I'm not sure which deck we're going to use yet. I haven't checked with my spiritual team and which ones I'm going to be able to use for probably the next month or so. All right. So Monday we'll start a new deck, and we'll see how things go from there. All right. So the show is coming up next week. Hang on. We have on Tuesday at noon is Polly Joe's show, Polly Joe LeBay's Chakra Sessions. And she's going to be bringing information to us about expanding the intuitive flow. Expanding the intuitive flow. Should be a good show, good information. And so that's noon Eastern time on Tuesday. And then on Tuesday night is my weekly show. communications from home. And we're going to be talking about spring cleaning of all kinds. And and all that entails, right? And so we're going to be talking about that on Tuesday night. So bring your stories about spring cleaning. Yeah, if you could just stand there just for a second. she's gonna be my visor. That's it. Yeah. So anything and everything that we talked about today, that if it resonated with you, my suggestion is to embrace it and see, sense, feel, see how today's energy is unfolding around you and where this information is helpful, right? Yeah. And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. That's all right. No worries. You're not going to hurt anyone's feelings by saying, you know what, I just didn't get that one. Because there's always tomorrow's cards, right? And it might be just for you tomorrow. Yeah. So no worries. Maybe you're a messenger. Maybe you know somebody who would find the information valuable or insightful. Or maybe they've been looking for a spiritual community to be a part of. And so all you have to do is share the link with them and you're good to go. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow as far as I know. Otherwise, I'll let you guys. George will bring a message to you if I have to cancel, okay? So enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we'll see you back here. Bama Mina, that means until we see each other again. Love you guys.